Hey gang, it's Maria here. I just started this up just to make sure everything's running nice and smooth, give it a chance to catch up, give people a chance to hop on the call. So I'm just reading a couple extra questions that I got through the email and letting you guys get a chance to hop on. Suggest maybe go grab a glass of water, probably like a pencil or something like that. Get your blueprint so that you're ready to go. Otherwise, I'm just gonna putter here for another minute or so, and then we'll get rolling right on time. So just amuse yourselves, make yourself at home. Okay, we're bang on 7 o'clock, so we're gonna rock and roll here. I got notes, so if you see me looking down, you're like, she's looking at notes. It's because I've got notes. I got a lot to cover. So we're live. This is, if you haven't discovered it yet, this is what Facebook Live is. So when you go to post a picture, like if you write an update and you go like you're going to add a picture, it gives you an option. One, I think it says either Facebook Live or live video or something like that. That's what this is. So like, don't accidentally push it if it's something you don't want to share with everybody. I'm still in my baseball cap because Paul and I were training for a half marathon that is not this Sunday, not the next Sunday, but the Sunday after that. So today we had to do like 800-meter repeats for pace, like fast. And so it was a busy day in the gym, and then I had to rip home and get on my running stuff and go for a run, and then I just ate some carrots and celery and hummus, if you're interested, for dinner, and then here I am. So I'm kind of in my running garb. I just put on a sweatshirt and we're ready to go. But my name is Maria Mountain, and I'm a goalie strength and conditioning coach. So I work with all hockey players. I work with athletes in other sports. I've trained Olympic champions in figure skating. One of the athletes I trained just won a bronze medal in Rio in the decathlon. How cool is that? But I specialize in off-ice training of goalies, and so that means I basically help you win more games on the ice by helping you do the right kind of training off the ice, and without sacrificing your hip joints in the process. So I'm always, I kind of come from my philosophy is kind of based on my experience rehabbing injured athletes when I worked at the sport medicine clinic. And so that's always really my number one concern. Like, I need to keep you on the ice and keep you healthy. And then, you know, we're gonna win more games. You're not gonna win any games if your hips get so smashed by just, you know, trying to lift heavy or work hard or, you know, do things like that. So that's when you talk about what your purpose is, and I know it kind of sounds cheesy or weird, but honestly, like, my purpose is to help you win more games with fewer injuries and try to save your hips the best I can. So so that's what I do. So today I'm going to walk you through this, which is the in-season blueprint for goalies. If you do not have it yet, let me try to type it in here, where you can get it. You'll have to put your email in, because I like to share content, and I create tons and tons of free content so that any goalie anywhere in the world, even if you don't have a penny, can be better. But I also don't want somebody who isn't motivated or dedicated enough to enter their email address. It's like almost like a test. Like, if it's like, oh, I gotta get my email now, forget it. Then it's like, that's cool, but it's just, I'm not talking to you. Like, not that, like, I'm not ever talking to you, but it's like, that's not who this is for. That's what I'm trying to say. This is a mouthful because I try to make it so that what's this called again? in-season blueprint opt-in. I think that's what it is. So I'm using a new system, and one of you, I asked you guys, like, hey, could you let me know if this worked? And it did work. And so basically this is a really yucky looking URL because I'm trying to make it so that things are a little more organized so that I can find it and share it with you, because sometimes too you guys are like, what was that thing you had? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, once it's gone, it's gone. So I just checked it, I just clicked on the link, and it actually worked. So awesome. So that's what we're going to go over today. So if you haven't done so yet, maybe rip over to that link really quickly, open another tab. You just have to enter your email address, and then you do have to check your email. I set this up. So there's a couple ways you can set it up. You can set it up like so that you just kind of get everybody, and that people don't have to confirm that they actually ask for the information you're providing. And that's a way to get more people on your email list. I don't care about more people. I want the people who really want to be here and want to learn and want to be better. That's all. Like, I'd rather have 200 goalies that are just like so motivated and so dedicated and they'll do anything to achieve their goal, than to have, like, you know, like other people in my mastermind group. I have like 20,000 people on their list. Like, I want those. I want the Spartans. That's who I want. I just want the Spartans. Everybody else can, you know, they'll go find somebody else. So you'll enter your email address. Then you have to check your email, and it's going to be an email from me saying, hey, I just want to make sure that you actually want this stuff. Click this link. When you click the link, it takes you right to the page where you can download. Look, those are my notes, where you can download this blueprint. Okay, and that's what we're going to go through. Okay. Yeah, we're good. That's all I explained. So today I'm going to walk you through the big picture, but I'm also going to give you some of the missing links that explain maybe why you're not seeing the results that you want to see when you're on the ice, and the results that you deserve to see on the ice. Like, you're trying to do the right thing, and I know that if you're here, oh my God, I love it when I get a thumbs up go across. Does everybody see the thumbs up go across the screen? Because Jamelia Hassan, what up? My homie Jamelia's on the call. She's the best. I could tell stories, but I won't. So anyway, I know that if you're here, you're investing time, right? You could be doing a million other things. You're investing time in yourself. You're serious about seeing results on the ice, right? Like, this is why you're here. Other than Jamelia, she just, like, she loves me. She's probably a bigger fan than my mom is. So yeah, so if you're here, if that's the reason you're here, because you're investing in yourself and you're that motivated, give me like a thumbs up, or there's a way you can do like a heart. I'm not sure how to do it, but it's like, it feels like love. But just let me know that I'm talking to the right people. Okay, so let's rock and roll. I saw a couple of thumbs up go, so let's make sure we're chatting. Here we go. We're gonna start right at the beginning, up here. And if you don't have your sheet with you, that's okay. I'll kind of read it out as we go along. But you're gonna be a little bit surprised with what your starting point should be. And this is one of the missing links that I was referring to earlier. The starting point is to create the vision of where you want to go this season, what you want this season to look like. If you don't have an idea, of where you're going, it's like, how do you know when you've gotten there? It's like in business, people are like, well, okay, what's your end point? What's good enough? How do you know when you're there? And if you don't have that picture, it's like you're just working towards something, but you never arrive because you don't know where you're trying to get. Does that make sense? So the number one thing is creating a vision. What do I want this season to go like? I shared a quote with you from Owen, who's one of the goalies I've worked with in the Turning Pro coaching program for a couple years. And, he sent it to me and it was like, hey, just a heads up, but I finally reached my short-term goal of making the AAA hockey team at a really competitive hockey school that he's at. And I love that he said, like, my short-term goal, because he knows where he wants to go. And I'm sure he won't mind me telling you, he wants to go to the NHL. But he knows that he has to get, okay, well, my first step is I have to get here, and then I have to work and get there. So it's like, what is this season going to be? What's going to be your step that at the end of this season, you know, and it's, let's say you went out to, invited to a junior B skate and you got released, and so you're playing AAA. That's fine. So what do you need to achieve by the end of this season that you can control that's going to make this season a success? So where would that be? Well, you know what, I would, you know, and again, depends what your situation is, but it might be like, okay, you know, I become the team's go-to goalie. I have a save percentage of, you know, or above blah. It might be that you have a couple of really, really bad habits. So, hey, I cure myself of dwelling on the last goal that went in. I teach myself to focus, to put it behind me and focus on the next thing. Maybe you've never done off-ice training during your season. It's like, okay, I'm going to have a plan and I'm going to stick with that plan while I do my through my in-season. Something like that. So, so could somebody do me a favor and just quickly type in, let me just refresh this, see if I can see it. Can somebody just type in like a short-term goal that they have, like what they might want to have for their season, and then I'll use you as a little example, and we can go from there. We can use it as an example. Ross, I see you on there. Fire in one of yours, and we'll go from there. Otherwise, I can just make one up if you guys are playing a little shy right now. Let me just refresh this, see if we got one, or we'll rock and roll. Okay, you guys are shy. So let's say you're letting, like, pucks are sneaking in between your skate and the post because, save percentage above 930, goals against average. Now they're all like ripping in. Hi Guy, hi Brian. Okay, so Ross, yours was the first to pop up. So let's go save percentage above 930. So then I've worked with Ross is a turning pro coaching client. Actually, another guy that made the step up to AAA this season, and yeah, I saw that. And so Ross had to work for it. He had to earn that spot on the AAA team, and so he did an awesome job. So we worked together a bit, but I know one of the things we're working on a lot is speed with Ross. So part of that is getting him stronger and then translating that that strength into speed on the ice. So if we were setting a couple of goals for Ross, number one would be to keep up with his strength training during the season. So to consistently do his strength training 2 times a week, which I know he gets to do because he has a fitness class this term. So he gets a chance to do that actually during school. Plus I know he's like a very, very motivated guy. He gets his work done. He takes it seriously. So, goal number 1 would be build strength during the season, because Ross and I, we just started working together during the off season. So I know he still has room to build more strength. So that would be goal number 1. And then his action steps would be, I'm going to do my lifts 2 times a week. I'm going to focus on perfect technique, but once I can get my target reps with perfect technique, then I'm going to add more weight so that he's building his overall strength through the season. And it is possible to do, and it doesn't have to be counterproductive if you're doing it the right way. It actually will help you if you're doing it the right way. So then Ross's other goal would be to increase lateral power. So then his action steps would be 2 times a week I'm going to work on speed training. And that's going to be really focused work. So another action step would be focus doing that speed training, learning how to put energy into the ground to move faster side to side, because it is a bit of a skill. So it's like you can kind of go through the motions, or you can really focus on, okay, I'm going to just work on stabilizing my core and getting a good full push as I go. And that's going to help build his power as well. So that's just a sample. So it's like, okay, where do I want to be at the end of this season? Awesome, I want to have a save percentage above .930. But if you stop there, it's like, that's a wish. Like, that's like, oh, I want $1 million. Oh, I wish I had $1 million. You know, it's like, no, like, you got to get out. Like, actually, for Ross is a perfect example. Ross wanted to do Turning Pro coaching program. I opened it up for enrollment, and Ross like, okay, like I'm getting a job. And so he got a job. He worked all summer, trained all summer, and made it happen. He wasn't just like, oh, I wish I could do that. Oh, because I know that would be awesome. You know, he took care of business. So, so that's how the goal setting works. And then the next part of it is to assemble the tools that you need to succeed. So maybe one of your goals was, yeah, like, mentally I get so frustrated, or mentally I get so distracted, or whatever, when I get behind in a game, or if I let in a bad goal. I really need to solve that piece of the puzzle. Then find a sports psychologist you can work with, or somebody, you know, who has expertise in that. Work on the mental side of the game. Maybe it's technical. Maybe you're just, you know, you're self-taught and you don't know all the strategies. You don't know how to be the most efficient you could be. Then find the best goalie coach you can find. My friend Michael Garman, Goalie by Garman, he does stuff online. My friend Steve McKeegan, Future Pro, he does stuff online. They have videos out there. Eli Wilson has videos out there. You know, there are tons of places that you can get help, but you need to know where you're trying to go, and then make a map how to get there, right? And that's like, this is what we're working on here. This is the map. Or if it's physical, that's where I come in. This is my wheelhouse. So that's what we're going to spend the rest of the time chatting about. And then when I get to the end, we'll kind of, I'll answer questions, things like that. Again, I always say this because I think, like, what are we going to talk about all this time? And so I say, as soon as I finish, we're done. We go about our business. I'll try not to take up too much of your time, but sometimes I get excited. What can I say? Okay. So if we look at the physical elements, I started with strength and power. These aren't 100% in order. I posted a blog post that had the order, in the order, like, of what I think is the order of importance. These aren't in that same order, but it's fine. I'll explain as we go. Okay, so strength and power. This is an off-ice priority. Okay, so some of these things are off-ice priorities. Some of these things are not. Strength and power is just exactly like in that example that I gave for Ross's goals. It's like, that's something that we have to battle for. It drives me nuts, and I see it all the time. And even like some of our guys that go to like good programs, they train with us in the off season. We get them strong and fast and mobile, and then they go away with their team, and even, you know, some of the, like, they're good teams and they have strength coaches and you know, or their team has a trainer or things like that, and then they come back at the end of the season and they're like weaker, fatter, slower. It's like, and I know the season's a grind, so I'm not saying it isn't, and I'm not saying that everybody's gonna improve their strength and power over the season, but it's like, you shouldn't be coming back weaker. I mean, maybe if you had like a Stanley Cup run and you've been in playoffs so long that you really haven't been able to lift, but like, there's no reason for that. So you're going to focus on, but again, you're not going to train like you were in a gym. Like, I had a guy, like a high school kid, emailed me and he's like, oh, like all summer I followed Ultimate Goalie 3.0 and then I was doing this, and then I was playing tennis, and I was going for a run, and I was doing this, and I was on the ice, and and now the season's on, and I'm trying to do all that stuff, and I'm just exhausted. It's like, yeah, like, you're not supposed to be doing all that stuff. Like, it's the hockey season, it's go time. So, you know, you're gonna be really focused, again, like a laser focus. You're gonna be working on your max strength. So like heavy low, as long as you have the training background. Don't just go in the gym for the first time tomorrow and start smashing heavy weights. But you're gonna work on max strength. You're gonna look at compound lifts, so like what I call big bang lifts. So it'd be like hex bar deadlift. Actually, I put a bunch of them on the blueprint, like single leg squats, hip thrusts, step up, hex bar deadlift. Those are your big bang exercises. For your pushing, like standing cable press, chin ups. But like, don't do like bench. I mean, you can do bench press like every so often. Who doesn't like to do bench press? I did bench press yesterday, actually. And I did triceps kickbacks because I wanted to work on my arms. There's those thumbs up for bench press. Like, we all have those moments. But, you know, try to get the max bang for your buck. So, like, standing cable press, you're still working your chest and your shoulder and your triceps, but then you also have to stabilize with your torso and your hips. And there's a lot more that translates onto the ice when you do those kinds of things. Body row, towel grip body row, single arm cable deadlift and row. So, you know, those are your big bang exercises. And then you're going to sprinkle in your stabilizers, your prehab exercises, or like those are your injury prevention exercises. And so the way that we typically do that, you know what, I think I gave you a full example in a second. I'm getting ahead of my notes because I'm excited. And then sometimes too, we put your power and agility in there and work those in as part of your strength and power workout. And I'll explain a little bit how exactly we work that. Don't make this mistake. I get emails from goalies all the time. Well, all the time. And quite often, they'll say things like, oh, when I do my workouts, don't worry, I'm not lifting heavy weights. I'm doing high reps and low weight. It's like, why? Because, like, you're Jane Fonda? Do you guys get the Jane Fonda reference, or is that making me old? Give me a thumbs up if you get the Jane Fonda reference. None. Crickets. Do you guys know what the show Will and Grace is? Give me a thumbs up if you know the show Will and Grace. Yeah. Oh, I think I just saw one. Okay, boy. Yeah, I'm dating myself because I was talking to our varsity kids today, and I was like, did you see that Will and Grace thing about the election? And they're like, who? What's that? No. Mm-mm. And I thought, oh no. But anyway, okay. Maybe there's a delay on it or something, because now there's all kinds of thumbs up. So either you love the skit. Did you love the skit? I thought it was hilarious. Anyway, yeah, doing low weight, high repetition weight training is like, it's beyond me. Unless you're trying to work on a stabilizer, which needs stamina. So we might do like 15 repetitions of shoulder internal external rotation, or maybe some of our hip stabilization drills, but not like squats or things like that, because you get that on the ice. Like, you get that muscular endurance training really specifically on the ice. So in the gym, we need to just build that envelope of strength, you know, especially with those big bang exercises. So please don't be doing like, you know, 15 repetitions, or even in my programs, some people will say like, oh, and then I wanted to make it harder, so I did more repetitions. No, like, it doesn't work like that. Like, it's completely different. It's like, oh, well, I wanted to get better at French, so I just practice Spanish. Like, it's completely different. So it's like max strength uses different types of motor unit. Oh, now I'm gonna geek out on you. Uses different types of motor units than endurance based muscle. So like, we need to hit those high, they're called high threshold motor neurons. We need to hit them hard and get those big explosive you know, muscle fibers popping. That's where your power and speed comes from. If we're going like low threshold using our endurance muscles, that's just like to your speed and power. Okay, so if it's a stabilizer, that's fine, because that's where it lives. It's just like all day, like every day I'm hustling, keeping you stable. But if we want that speed and power, we got to hit it hard. Okay. But again, making sure you have good technique. I don't want like some 9-year-old to go out there and start like trying to squat 325. Actually, Ross had this question. I think he had messaged it to me a couple weeks ago. Should I lift on game day? Because I map out like when Ross does all his workouts. No, as a rule, unless if you had a game in the morning or a game in the afternoon, like on a Saturday or Sunday, you can lift after the game. It's actually a good time to lift after the game. Do you remember when the Canucks and the Sens used to always be like interviewed, and they'd be like just riding the bike and then talking to the reporters? It's because they used to always work out right after the game, because it's the furthest you'll ever be from your next game. So it's not a bad time if you can do it after the game. Now, if you get home from the game at like 10 o'clock at night, you don't need to go in the gym and start smashing it out unless you just love to. So you can lift the day before a game, as long as it's sort of something that you normally do. Again, if you've never lifted before, don't just go out the day before a big game and decide you're going to start lifting, because you're going to be stiff and sore. But if you're sort of motivated and you're keeping up with it and you're at the level where you're really working hard, then that's totally cool to do that. So I kind of mapped out like a little sample. Sherry, do I have any idea? I don't make a lot of sense, to be fair. That's fair, Sherry. Sometimes I don't make sense to myself, and that's okay. You're welcome to stay if you wish, but if it doesn't make sense, that's okay too. So, sample program. This is how we'd set up kind of an in-season program. So we'd have supersets, so that might be like a combination of 2 or 3 exercises that you'll do back to back. And part of the reason we do that is to work out a little bit more efficiently. So that there isn't that like hanging out at the water fountain of, I gotta wait for 30 seconds or 2 minutes before it's my turn to go again. So if you go single leg squat, 4 repetitions on each leg. So again, it's gonna be heavy resistance. Then you'll go single arm staggered stance cable chest press. So again, we're getting that single arm, because then there's going to be a rotary torque on the torso. You're going to have to stabilize with your core and use your hips and your legs. So sort of a ground-based functional training exercise. Again, 4 reps on each side, because we want to tap into those high threshold motor units. That's probably what didn't make sense, but I get excited about exercise physiology sometimes, Sherry. I can't help myself. It's the way I am. Then we would go to the elevated plank and maybe add in like a hip circumduction. These I've posted on the blog before. But so we have to stabilize our torso, but then we're also getting some mobility drill in the hip. So again, it's okay if you don't know exactly what the exercises are. I'm just kind of mapping out how we would lay out an in-season program. This is actually a full sample workout for you. And then we do maybe 6 repetitions in each direction that way. So we've got a big bang leg exercise, a big bang pushing exercise, and then a nice core stabilization and mobility exercise. Now, if we wanted to save a little bit of time, we would go 3 sets of single leg squat, 3 sets of single arm chest press, and only 2 sets of the plank with hip circumduction. So it would be squat, press, plank. That's 1 set. Then we would go squat, press, plank. That would be 2 sets. Then we would go squat and press, and then we're done. Then we move on to the next. So that would be like our A superset is done. Now we're going to move on to our B superset. Our B superset might be towel grip body row. So that's just a body row, pull like a inverted row, they'll call it, pulling yourself up to the bar. But holding on to using towels for your grip so that your forearms have to work harder, because a lot of the guys that I train too, one of the things they ask for is like exercises to help their wrists and their elbows not get so tired when they're passing pucks, and work on their shot strength. So that's a perfect way to do it. So we've got a great compound pulling exercise, and with that one you also have to keep a nice stable torso, so we're using our hamstrings and our back extensors, but we're also getting that forearm strength. Tons of bang for our buck, so we're not in the gym forever and ever. Then we might do a knee down lateral hop and stick. So really it's like, imagine that you're, well, let's say you're almost like in a more traditional VH position, and then you're going to drive up. So you've got one pad down, and then your skate up. Say I've got my right knee down and my left skate up, and then I'm going to push, pop right up to the post, and seal my right post with my right skating pad. Exact same idea. So I'm going to kneel with my right knee down, my left foot up. I'm going to get up. I'm going to explosively push to my right side and balance and stick. So I'm working on explosive power, and I'm also working on deceleration and hip stabilization, because when you do that hop and stick, I want you to nail that landing. I don't want you to be, wiggling all over the place, because then that's an energy leak, and you're not balanced, and you can't produce max force when you're not balanced. Cool. So then from that, I might go to med ball rotary pass. So working on a rotational power exercise, firing that med ball into the wall. So that's really a plyometric drill that works on your rotary power. So there's another superset: towel grip body row, knee down lateral hop, med ball rotary pass. And again, I would go 3, 3, 2, so that I save a little bit of time and I can get out of the gym with warm up and everything in 40 to 60 minutes. Then we're going to go hip drive and eccentric adductor. So working on lengthening your groins under tension. And again, I posted that one on the blog tons of times, talking about lengthening under tension, reducing your risk of injury for groin strains. But we compare those two together. So we've got everything covered. We've got a nice compound leg exercise that requires hip stability in the single leg squat. We've got a good pushing exercise that also requires stabilization. We've got a plank exercise with hip mobility. We've got a good pulling exercise that works also on our grip strength. We've got a lateral power exercise that works on our post-to-post speed. We've got hip drive, which helps build up our glutes, which are our most powerful pushing muscle. So that's why I sort of snuck those in too. And then we've got an exercise that helps reduce our risk of injury to our groin, and actually helps get us a little bit wider in the front splits. Sick. And we're done that and out of the gym in sort of 40 to 60 minutes, which we should be. You shouldn't be spending, really I like it to be around 40 minutes in season. Cool? Okay. We're going to move on to the next thing. And then I'll answer your questions at the end. And if we run out of time, I'll go in and type them in later on. That's totally cool. I'm happy to do that. Okay. Let's get on to agility and speed. How many of you do, maybe give me a little thumbs up or whatever, how many of you actually do specific speed and agility training during your in-season? Give me, maybe put a little thumbs up or something, or type in the comments box. And maybe don't include the bagger that your team does for off-ice training, like where the guy comes in and makes you run the stairs over and over and over again. Okay, yeah, so like a couple, I think I saw 2 maybe go through. And you don't have to type it in the comment section or anything, but just think in your head how long it typically takes you to do that specific speed and agility workout. Actually, probably one of you was Ross. So think about how long that it takes you. It should take you less than 20 minutes to get it done. So speed and agility training is, and I've said this before, so you've heard it before, but it requires a lot of nervous system input, and your nervous system will fatigue before your muscles do, or before you really feel tired. So the easiest thing is, if you are doing your speed and agility workout and the focus is actual speed, then, and you're feeling exhausted, like, so you're like, it's not a stamina workout. It's like, I'm trying to get faster and more explosive with this workout. That's the purpose. And you should always know the purpose of your workout. And you're getting halfway through it and you're like, you know, you look like me at the end of my third 800-meter repeat today. You are not training speed. You are training stamina. Speed looks awesome. Speed is focused, it's concentrated. That's the hardest part of it, is putting that energy into the ground or in the right direction or stabilizing your transition. It is not aerobically demanding. So keep that in mind. And then keep it short. You know, like, get your quality work done, leave some in the tank, and then move on. As I mentioned before, and as I kind of demonstrated in that sample workout, you can work it in with your strength, or you can also work it in with your mobility a few days a week. So a lot of those turning pro guys that I design their programs, I'll have a mobility day that's got a little bit more speed in it. So yeah, again, like some lateral hop and stick, some up down, some double knee recoveries, you know, just things to like keep it popping, not an exhaustive type of thing. I want you to get exhausted on the ice. You know, take advantage of that time on the ice. Mobility. I'm not even going to ask you to give me a thumbs up if you want to know the missing ingredient in your in-season mobility, because I know you all do, or you should all. Make it dynamic and add lengthening under tension. So the dynamic, like, so, no, not even a lot of you. Some of you do static stretching. Some of you have a not bad static stretching routine that you normally do. Most of you don't even have a routine at all. Some of you have a routine and it's not good. Like, it's just your normal, like, kneeling groin, hamstring, where you actually are rounding your back, so you're not actually stretching your hamstrings, you're stretching your back, and leaving your hamstrings tight, which is going to create back problems for you and put you at risk for tearing your hamstring. You know, it's just like, it's not good. But you know, we still do static stretching in my programs, but then we also get a dynamic element to it. So maybe a stretch and then a rotation with the upper body, or a stretch and a rock back, or some mobility flows, like I've posted it before, the butterfly flow or the pigeon flow, or I have like a dynamic pigeon that we do. And then you also want to lengthen under tension. So you know, like, okay, so that eccentric adductor is an example. So if I kneel on the floor, like on a smooth floor, if I kneel down on my left knee with my right leg stuck out right beside me, so I'm kneeling on my left knee, my right leg is stuck out beside me, like straight out beside me, sort of in like a half kneeling front splits position. And then I gradually lower myself down. So I gradually let my right foot slide out as I lower and get more and more and more stretch on my adductors. And then I put my hands down on the floor and pull my leg back in underneath me and then pull up. I don't use my groins to pull myself back up. That's a big mistake. Don't do that. So if you let yourself lengthen out to the side, that's what I mean by lengthening under tension. We also do some generating high levels of tension in a lengthened position isometrically. So again, let's just think of a kneeling groin stretch. So we might get into that kneeling groin stretch and then you know, hold the stretch for about 30 seconds, feel that nice stretch on your adductors, but then without really moving, then I'm going to push my knees into the floor. So I'm generating tension in my adductors when they're in their maximum lengthened position. So it's teaching my body like, hey, this is okay, because even though I'm in a real lengthened position, like that's why we tear our muscles when we get them in a length. Man, my hands look huge like that. That's why we tear our muscles when we get in that lengthened position, because our muscles contract by making little cross bridges. So our muscles have different kinds of filaments. See, people are gonna get mad at me because I'm geeking out again a little bit on muscle physiology, but like I said, it's what's in me. So our muscles work different kinds of filaments. They're called actin and myosin in our muscle, and they slide past one another, and that's what happens when our muscles contract. They slide like that. So like we're pretty strong here. Like if it's like, well, if you were here, I would dare you to straighten my arm. You can't, like, I can't even do it because it's so strong, right? Because it's like that, it's strong. But if I'm out here, if I'm in my splits, it's like, well, that is not very strong, and I'm gonna tear it easily. So our brain knows that. We're not dummies, and it's like, no, you are not going there. So that's when you maybe go a little thumbs up if you ever feel like, okay, I stretch at home. Like, swear to God, I stretch at home and I have a pretty good program. But when I get on the ice, I can't get in those positions. It makes me so frustrated. That's because you have no strength there, and your body knows it, and your body's just protecting you. So it's like when you were at that high school party, and then your mom came to the door and was like, ding dong, like, Mariette, you're coming home right now with me. So they're protecting you. You don't always like it, but they're protecting you. There you go. Okay. Stamina. Hey, okay, so I think if you're getting at least 4 hard skates a week, maybe give a little thumbs up, just so I can kind of gauge who's on the call and how many hard skates you're getting. But if you're getting like at least 4 hard skates a week, and maybe if your team does one of those off-ice baggers, like the local trainer comes in and makes you run the stairs or do 8 million burpees or something like that. Yeah, okay. So yeah, quite a few of you are getting that. So then really, like, that's your stamina. It is not an off-ice priority, in my opinion. It's an in-practice priority, but you need to be going hard in practice. So, plus it sucks sometimes as you're the goalie, because they're like there's, they're skating sideboards, or you're doing lines, or, and it's like, I'm gonna be last because I'm wearing like 47 pounds. Yeah, Ross, hard skates include games. Yeah. I'm wearing like 47 pounds of equipment. So not all of you, I'm not saying all of you do, but some of you are like, I'm last anyway, and everybody expects me to be last, and it's whatever. Like I'm just gonna like go 80%. You need to go hard. You need to tap into that. You need to build that stamina. You need to really use that. Even if you're like, oh, but then I'm going to be tired, for the rest of practice. That's okay. It's okay to practice tired. Maybe not every day, but, you're going to be playing games when you're dog tired. So why not put yourself at a disadvantage in practice? Force yourself to sort of be your very best. And then in games are going to seem like easy, like cheese. Not that cheese is easy, but so, I think you're getting enough stamina. I don't think you need to be doing more intervals away from the rink. If like you never play a game, and you only have 2 practices a week, then you're going to need to do a bit of extra stamina, unfortunately, because I know you're putting in all the time too, but you are going to get your chance sooner or later, and you need to be ready when that chance comes. So that's just the way it is. So the key point, or maybe points, but it's like during the season, your hard work is on the ice. In the off season, it's in the gym. It's in the gym. It's at the track. It's in the soccer field. That's the priority. And then if you're getting on the ice too and working on technique, or playing some pickup, that's fine. But in the off season, your priority is the gym. In the in season, it's your work on the ice. That's your key. That was just a little message from Carter Hutton. He says testing went well. I messaged those guys that are at camp, see how their testing went. So that's your priority. Think of your time on the ice as your magic time. Like when you step on that ice, it's like, here's where I transform myself into you know, the goalie I want to be. Here's where I take action into get moving a step towards my vision, because you're going to be judged based on how you do on the ice. So you're going to be doing all this stuff behind the scenes because it's going to help you play better on the ice. And that's what's going to pave the path for where you want to go. You don't need to do more off ice. You need to do the right amount, get in, get out, supercharge your performance on the ice, and then you're off to the races. I need tissue because my nose is running. I'm getting warm because I'm excited talking about all this stuff. So there you go. It's up to you. And you're going to do kind of probably one of three things. You're going to consume this information, and you're going to do nothing. And you're going to be the exact same goalie at the end of this season as you were at the end of last season. You're going to be in the same boat. We're going to be sitting here a year from now having the exact same conversation. And you're going to be thinking, I should do that stuff. And you maybe will or won't. You might consume the information and do a couple of things. One or two of the things, and you'll see some improvement. And that's awesome. That's great. I want anybody to be able to improve. Or, you know, some of you are going to do it all. And you're going to transform the goalie you are. You're going to hit that vision, and you're going to be moving on to the next step. You're going to be like Ross and Owen, you know, who achieved one of their next big goals. You know, you're gonna be like the guy like Paulie T, who never played AAA hockey and worked his way up to play Junior B and got a scholarship and is now at university in the States. You're going to be like Steven Altman, who, when we started working together, his goal was just to become a starter at his university. And then, you know, we were like targeting in on that. We were getting very close to that. And then he started like, maybe I could play pro, you know, in Europe or something. And he's now in Sweden playing in the second league. But it took time. But, you know, so that's where you want to be. You know, I find it outrageous that there's some of you watching right now that have this untapped potential. You know, you have the drive, the motivation, you have the basic tools to be, you know, a really great goalie. But your path kind of looks like more like a roller coaster at an amusement park than sort of a steady climb. And I mean, it's not a straight line. There are downs and there are ups for sure, but you know, overall it's moving in the right direction. And some of you are still like, woo, highs and lows and dips and doodles. So you know, I know someone's probably going to ask, because someone does every time, so I'm going to answer it right now, and then I'll get on to answering the questions you posted. But someone's going to ask, like, what you said sounds really good, but it's confusing. I don't know what, like, I'm not really sure what to do. I don't know what those exercises are. You know, how can I just come and work with you? Or can I, like people actually want to fly to London and in the summer, my turning pro guys do. I had 3 guys in the city this summer working with me, which was awesome. Got one from Newfoundland, one from North Dakota, and a guy from Iceland actually was in. But you know, and just for a few days to sort of get up to speed. And unfortunately, I can't do that. My private training roster is full. I mean, I have a couple spots for pro players, but unfortunately, I don't have the time to do that kind of thing. And really coming in for a few days doesn't help. It's fun. I really enjoy it, but it's not what you need. You need that consistent sort of guidance and feedback and sort of talking on a regular basis. So, I mean, the option that's open to you, and I'll open this up till maybe Monday, till Monday for applications. That's fair. I guess it saves you a whole bunch of money. We can walk through this blueprint. We'll do like I'll let you in the turning pro, but it'll be like a turning pro quick start. So we'll only do 3 months, but we'll talk on Skype. I'll design your program. I'll give you access to the private training portal where you get access to your workouts. You see the videos, you see the calendar, the schedule. You check in all your workouts. I can see that you've done your workouts, what you've done. We can message back and forth using that portal. We talk every month. We have like a strategy coaching call. We can do that for 3 months, and it'll make it a good deal. Usually it's a year enrollment. I did an off-season one that was 4 months, and it actually worked really, really well. The guys, I wasn't sure that it would be long enough for guys to see the results that I wanted them to see, and actually I was really surprised. So we'll run this for the in-season. We'll do a little quick start. What I'll do is I'll post the link in the comments, and you'll have to apply though. And if you're successful, then we'll get on the phone. We'll have like a strategy call like before you're accepted. So even if you apply, it doesn't mean you'll be accepted. If I ask to have a strategy call with you, it doesn't mean you're accepted. It just means I want to chat with you a little more and see if it's the right fit. It's just my time is kind of limited running the gym and Hockey Training Pro, and so I'm pretty good at figuring out who's going to be successful. And then we'll do it. and it'll be awesome, and you'll be amazed. There's nothing better than, after being in the program a month or 6 weeks, and having your goalie coach and your team coach and your teammates and other parents be like, what has Steve been doing? Or he looks like a completely different goalie out there. So not to mention how nice it feels to be stepping on the ice and feeling that way. So yeah, that's what I have for you. If you're interested, cool, you can apply and I'll check it out. We'll only leave it open till Monday, because again, it's like, as for like, if it's right for you, you're like hot diggity, like let's go. If it's not right, and if not, that's totally cool too. I'll post the link to that, a little more information and the application page. I'll do that right now, and then I'll answer your questions. Man, I'm popular. My thing goes ding ding. It doesn't ever ding, which makes me worried. I think that's it. If you click that and it doesn't work, or you might have to cut and paste it. If you click it and it doesn't work, just let me know, and I'll do something better. Okay. Let me answer your questions here. I gotta try to. The questions don't quite keep up with the, like on my laptop, which is a little bit weird, but. What ages is a blueprint written for? Well, the blueprint is that's just kind of what we walk through today, like so what types of things you should be working on. But yeah, like I think 14 plus, like if you're just a kid, 10, 11, 12, 13, this doesn't apply. There's so many sort of bigger fish. I have a program for that age group. It's called puckbattledomination.com, and I think it's a reasonable amount of active exercise for a child to be doing. Even though I know like they're motivated and they want to do it, it's just like it's just that they're not going to see the maximum benefit of that, and it just can get to be a little bit too much. So the key is really just like, man, keep that kid in love with all kinds of sports. I think too, if you're looking for, something extra to do that's going to help your kid build a bit of like strength, stability, flexibility, I think martial arts is a great way to go. Again, it depends who the teacher is, like anything, but that's something I would for sure be looking at. Hi Jamie, thanks for saying that I'm awesome. I bought a rapid response goalie system. My son is 7. Yeah, that's, yeah, yeah. Yeah, and like, Guy, I'm Canadian, so I'll call you Guy. I don't know if you pronounce it Guy or Guy, but, Guy, I think, if he, you know him better than I do, obviously. And it might be the kind of thing that you'll have to monitor it a little bit, but if he's done some stuff, and maybe with his team, or maybe followed some of the stuff I've posted online for free, he could probably wade into the rapid response. The thing I like about rapid response is that it is a really graded program. So it like starts with like foundation, and it's very basic to start, and then it builds and builds and builds. It's actually a really nice program. So, you know, 14 is like, I have to pick a number. I've trained like kids who are like 10, 11. There's this kid, he was a skater, his name is Davis Brown, he played for Sarnia, but I probably started training him when he was 10, and that kid, like, he was like an NHL player, like in terms of focus and like and muscle, and it was crazy. Again, even kids like that now, I don't train them, just because, like, man, I just want you to go to the playground and play, you know. But I know that some kids can do it. Again, just because you can doesn't mean you should. But 13, 14, you know, I would trust. Obviously, I trust your judgment. You're his dad, but. Oh, well, that's fine. Okay, Sherry, you were a little confused. That's okay. No hard feelings, babe. How many minutes of stretching should a 13-year-old goalie be doing per day in season, and how many days a week? Stretching kind of 5 to 7 days a week, like 10 to 15 minutes. The turning pro guys, they do like minimum 20 minutes, probably like 20 to 30 minutes. But again, we also do like stabilization work and some, you know, specific mobility work and things like that. So yeah, like 10, 15. Ross, nope, no, actually it's a little more expensive. Sorry, Ross. Yeah, nope, no different. Oh, yeah, puck battle, Guy. Yeah, has he done that puck battle a couple times, 1 or 2 times? Just comment there. I don't see it. You might not be on. So my answer would be, oh, yeah, then I would probably wade into rapid response. If he sort of did well with that, and you'll have a good idea how he did with it, how his focus was, how he did with sticking with the right technique, then, oh, thanks. Yeah, I like that program for, like, to get kids started. I think it works on good stuff. I would try him on rapid response for sure. And follow there's 2 schedules. Like, one is sort of like I'm too busy schedule. Follow that schedule so that you're not overloading them. But just, yeah, wait in, see how it goes. It'll be good. Yeah. Okay. If there are no more questions, it is about 7:57. Again, time flies when you're having fun. I'm going to leave that link up to, if you want to apply for the Turning Pro Quick Start, which is just 3 months. That link is program.hockeytrainingpro.com/startinggoalie, and read it over, check out the information. Again, if it's right for you, you will be like, yes, this is exactly what I need. And if not, it's, you know, another time it'll be right for you. That's totally cool. The space is really, really limited, and again, that's why each time that I open it, the price creeps up a little bit, because it just comes down to hours in the day and how many people I can have in it. So yeah. Yeah, I'm glad you like my Nike hat, because I was out running and then I was like, oh, I think I'll leave the hat on. But yeah, I love these two. I use them. These are my go-to hats for running. They're like dry fit like material, and they're super light, and they fit my head. Like, they're not too massively huge. So okay, well, now we've talked about hats and in-season goalie training. I think we've knocked it all out of the park. Gang, hope you have an awesome rest of the day. Thanks so much for taking the time to tune in and become a better goalie. That's what we're here for. So I hope you have an awesome night, and enjoy the rest of the hockey games for the World Cup of Hockey, and I will catch you next time. This is Maria from hockeytrainingpro.com.